Alright guys, doing a little solo run today, and what I'm doing today is pretty much a demo of two main things that I want to push really heavily for the Blender platform. I want to take a day. Firstly, let me say Happy New Year to everyone. It's a ooh, we just got through a tough year, 2022. Um, I think 2023 is going to be even more challenging. So let's not do anything too drastic. Let's not be uh, loose with our wallets. Let's not be frivolous with our spending. Let's still be very conservative because people do have projections of 2023 being a very challenging time. So let's just keep that in mind. But Happy New Year to everyone. Um, and like I said, today I want to run through some main demos for the Blender platform. And those two things that I want to demo are the creation of a credit line and the life cycle of a credit line in terms of the lending and borrowing to that credit line, as well as the adding of collateral to a credit line to increase the credit limit of that credit line, or using Blender collateral assistance to request collateral increases from Lenderblock Corporation. So those are the main things. This is going to be a very Blender centric episode of the podcast. But just to run through everything that we do with Lenderblock Corporation, as I do every time, Lenderblock Corporation is a software development firm, and what we do is create blockchain powered apps which provide FICO-free credit for everyone. So whether you want to lend or borrow or both at the same time, you can use the Blender platform and part of the platform to participate in social group economics. So the Blender platform for the first app, which was deployed in March of 2020, allows members to create these credit lines where they can choose their own interest rate, minimum monthly payment, and put these credit lines out on a dashboard where other members who are choosing to act as lenders can lend to these credit lines at their will. If a lender deems a credit line to be profitable and worth investing in because of the borrower's credibility statistics, because of the engagement from other lenders like them, um, or just the activity within the credit line itself, they can choose to lend and receive those interest compounding payments from the borrower, which would otherwise be going to a bank or other financial institution. So it's a means of circulating money within the middle class, upper class, and bringing the lower class in by supporting all layers. If you want to lend because you have excess capital, you can lend. If you want to receive, you can receive. And I think the wisest of everyone will do both at the same time. So this is a system where we're integrating multiple social classes into one credit network, and it's a means of creating an independent system that doesn't rely on large over leveraged financial institutions, which I think is a typical problem that we face in terms of just not having any leverage in our finances. A lot of to be carefully spoken. Um, I would just say that lack of financial autonomy leads to lack of freedom. So if we can build a sort of system here that allows people to have access to credit as well as a means of investing in other people rather than investing in over leveraged entities like big corporations or X, Y, and Z, you can view in the Blender platform. This is my entire premise on it. I'm very passionate about the Blender platform because it's the app that really got me into everything that Lenderblock Corporation is today. It's the premise for everything that I'm building and everything that I work for. It's that I want to integrate social practices into finances, and I want to create um, a system by which people can conduct the types of old school, age old community lending and borrowing practices and sharing practices and bartering practices that we've been doing as humans that help to make us humans. We can continue doing those same types of practices, but just modernized, right? Made modern to cater to the nuances of the modern day with the internet and blockchain and other. A blockchain itself offers opportunities for us to make our products even better. That's a big part of how these apps work as well. So with all these different technological resources that we can put to the table or put to use in terms of cloud computing, blockchain networks for decentralized computing as well as trustless ledgers, which are held true by consensus, and also having also groups of people who typically would interact with one another in the community or some microcosm, combining the social practices with the technology that we have. I'm kind of trying to outline the two here, and combining them together will give us a more powerful human experience. Uh, we have to continue the human traditions that make us human in terms of the ways that we interact, the ways that we the ways that we conduct business with one another. But at the same time, we have to modernize these practices as we continue to create new technologies. Otherwise, a big fear of mine is that human beings will become too. Um, it's odd to say this, but human beings need to rely on one another. For human beings to have no reliance upon one another is not a good thing. And the more that we can intertwine our well-beings with one another, the better we all do. Community itself is what keeps people safe. It's what inspires people to do well. It's what discourages people from doing things that are maybe unethical to do. It's community. It's even more tightly based when it's a family, right? So family is a form of community. Community is pretty much any microcosm by which human beings interact with one another, or through which, or in which. So the community itself is very important, and that's what I'm emphasizing here with the Blender platform, is building up a financial community through which the entire world can conduct business without having to go through a center of a financial institution, which is really just receiving people's money and holding it, reinvesting it, and owning that money, and people don't really know where their money is coming from. I mean, if just watch big banks operate in ways that normal people don't have access to operate, and there's no reason why, because banks are more times than not corporations, which means that they're bodies of their own, right? A corp body. So a corporation itself is a body. It's not a living body as you and I are, but it's a body, and the government recognizes it as such. When you own shares of a corporation, it's almost like owning almost forbid sorry for saying this, but it's almost like owning a slave, in the sense of where you're owning portions of this entity, which stands as its own self in the judicial system, or in the governmental system. The reason I say this is because banks themselves are operating as bodies, but they have access to operate with money, other people's money, in ways that other living bodies are not able to. So my thing is, why not allow each individual to become a bank? And that's I'm just giving a premise to everything that I'm about to explain in the demos. But the Blender platform allows each person to become a bank. Uh, and when you really look at the ways that banks are formed and operate, there's no reason why human beings can't conduct the same type of transaction. And this is what I mean. Why can't I create a credit line where I offer a competitive interest rate, but I borrow that, and I borrow those funds at the interest rate. Let's say it's 12%, whatever, and that's on the Blender platform. And then I take that money, invest it into my business, and take some of it and lend to another credit line on the app, which is offering 14% interest and has good credibility statistics and frequent repayments, right? So that's a very logical way to take funds that are on the platform and reinvest them for yourself and back onto the platform. And banks do similar things to what I'm describing by basically borrowing money or using money that isn't typically or technically theirs to reinvest and pay back individuals as agreed upon through contracts, or making sure that individuals have their funds to withdraw when it's requested or when it's desired. These are the types of things that banks are able to do, and what the Blender platform allows you to do is operate just as a bank does. That's what the big deal is. You can operate like a bank. Our slogan used to be borrow, lend and borrow, just like a bank. Yeah, because that's the principle. All right, that's enough talking for me. Well, about just my ideations and inspirations for why this is such a great product. I encourage all of you to download the Blender platform. It's up there right now. This is going to switch every 30 seconds or so, but which is up there. Download the Blender platform on iOS and Android. You can learn more at www.lenderblock.io/store. The Blender platform allows you to create your own credit lines using your own interest rate and minimum monthly payment, putting that credit line out on a platform by which lenders can, or through which lenders can lend to your credit line, protected by collateral, which you put up equal to your credit limit. You can also request collateral assistance from us if you become Blender verified, which I will talk to you a little bit about in a couple minutes. And once you receive your lending contributions from the lenders on the platform, you can withdraw them and repay them at the minimum monthly payment that you have set for yourself. And we will go all through that right now. We're going to switch our view here, so you can see screen sharing or infinite loop stuff. And cool. So I prepared a little bit, guys. We're gonna go with the flow. I just created a little test user here, and you should be able to see my face in the bottom left, I believe. But the ISWQR test is an account that I just made a couple minutes ago, just to perform some testing. And what this account's going to do is create a credit line. So when you sign up for the Blender platform, you will be brought to this page. If you have signed up in Spanish, then it may look a little bit differently. However, it'll pretty much look just like this. And what you're going to do is click on create a loan or credit line. The first thing you need to do if you're not there yet is when you've created your account, you're going to need to verify your identity. So you'll have a pop-up that comes up everywhere you go pretty much. Like you'll go to this screen here where you can deposit funds to your Blender wallet. And before you're even able to do that, if I weren't verified, it would have a pop-up here saying verify now, verify later. If you keep clicking verify later, you won't be able to do any monetary transactions. You have to verify your identity because you have to know who you are, for KYC laws and anti-money laundering laws, know your customer and anti-money laundering AML laws. So um, for that reason, you have to become verified. Once you become verified, you can click where I just clicked, which was that button deposit to your Blender wallet or your partner wallet. Oh, all right, I'm human, guys. I put partner here. I have two apps, and so they're very similar in their layouts. You see that partner there? That's there. So deposit to your Blender wallet is what this should say. Same wallet. You can use your account for the Blender platform to sign up for the partner platform, or just log in rather. So it's the same account for both apps. They're siblings. Anyway, if I want to deposit $10, I go here. I want to confirm that, and it'll take me to an online checkout window through Stripe, which allows me to go through 3D Secure 2, which is a Stripe provided payment security standard. It's a Euro standard, really. Like countries in the EU are already required to provide this, but it essentially allows for your bank to request second factor authentication from you if they think that the transaction is fraudulent. This can happen because we have suffered, and we're the ones who have to end up paying all the funds out when this does happen. It doesn't happen anymore, but in our early stages, 3 years ago, this was a plague where people would money launder it, and unfortunately they steal people's cards, come on the platform, deposit funds into their Blender wallet with the stolen funds, and then withdraw it to their actual bank account, right? And then when it all gets found out by the person who's been taken advantage of, we are the ones who have to pay that cost out. So now this is how you're going to deposit funds into the Blender wallet. You do it by going through our online security portal. You put in your information through here. It's very self-explanatory. But when you get back to the Blender platform app, it's going to be requesting that you complete your deposit. So it's going to say awaiting deposit. However, once you get back, it's constantly checking to see if you've completed it. If a certain amount of time goes by, I think I put it to like 30 seconds or something, but if a certain amount of time goes by and you still have not completed your deposit, you're going to get an email saying, hey, you have a pending deposit that was canceled because we're timed out. Remember to complete your Blender wallet deposit. So that's the whole principle there. Um, I'll try to just find things to say until this goes away, but this is a feature that I have here for a reason. It is noticeably long, and that's for a reason. So yes, okay, here we go. Awaiting deposit. You have up to 10 minutes to complete this transaction prior to expiry. So that's how you deposit funds in, guys. Go through that and check it out for yourself. Anyways, once you've had funds, you've put funds in your wallet and you have them here available in your Blender wallet, you'll now go to create a loan or credit line. So you'll reach here, and then you will see, ew. So then you'll reach welcome to credit line management. You have a little bit of a blurb about what it means to be a borrower on the Blender platform. You'll click next, and now you'll see some general terms. The terms are that credit lines exist perpetually. Interest will compound monthly on on money which you withdraw your debt. Monthly. Geez, I'm not reading. I'm thinking for myself. But minimum payments are due monthly. You must provide collateral equal to 100% of your credit limit. You may later increase your credit limit incrementally. So now going on to the next screen, you can see two different options here. You can do a private credit line or a public credit line. I suggest doing a public credit line because otherwise, if you do a private credit line, you're only gonna be able to receive lending contributions from people which you explicitly invite or like whitelist. If you don't invite them, they won't even be able to see your credit line because you made it private. So I suggest using public. Some more notices. Your collateral payment is equal to 100% of your credit limit, and that's due upon creation. So This is the whole thing. You're gonna start with a very minimal amount of collateral in your credit line, and you can increase that collateral by depositing more, or once again requesting collateral assistance from us through your Blender through becoming Blender verified, which I'll explain a little bit later. Going through this really quickly, we're going to read through these notices really quickly. Collateral payments are equal to 100% of your credit limit, which is due upon creation. Interest compounds monthly on the outstanding balance of your unrepaid withdrawals. So you're gonna have to make your minimum monthly payments as well. And this is what you're deciding here. You have to choose what your credit limit is going to be. How much collateral am I going to put up right now for myself? I already explained how you can increase that collateral, which increases your credit limit on a 1-to-1 ratio. Then we're going to go into your interest rate. This is where you need to be competitive here. You can make it very low, which is making it easy for yourself, but you want to remember that the higher your interest rate is, the more incentive lenders have to lend you funds. So you definitely want to try to make this as high as possible within your affordability range. So let's say I make this 13 just to be competitive, because the average is going to be 11. As you can assume, most people may not change that or may put it somewhere a little bit up or down. So that's the average. So then set your minimum monthly payment, right? So set your minimum monthly payment and the minimum loan which you accept from lenders. So this is very interesting here, and you'll understand it in a few seconds. The same amount of money that you require that someone lends to you, minimum per instance of lending, is the same amount that you must repay per month to your lenders. So the two are balanced 1-to-1, and this the principle here is it has to be fair. You can't request basically as a borrower, you don't want people lending you a penny at a time and then having just you want to have some kind of threshold where you're saying, look, please lend me at least $5 or something. But at the same time, you can't be unreasonable with that value, because if you're not willing to pay at least that much per month, then on a personal level, you're requiring more of an individual lender than you're willing to give yourself. So that's kind of the balancing act there that we're doing, and I think less is more. Simple things are golden, and basically that's your minimum monthly payment right there. So you're choosing this yourself. So think about this. So I'm gonna make it $5. Let's leave it right there. But remember that means someone can lend me as little as $5 at a time. Doesn't mean that's all they'll lend, but that's a minimum amount that they can lend to me. I have to make this $5.01. My credit limit has to be greater than my monthly payment. So let's here $5.02. I meant to hit one, but 0-1, but just hit two. So $5.20. So it looks a little bit more normal. There you go. And the total amount is that I have to pay upfront is $6.20, and that is comprised of my insurance collateral, which I've just talked about, the amount of collateral I'm putting down, which is equal to my credit limit upfront, and then my creation fee, which is a fee that we charge people to create a credit line. That's going to go up once we get a little bit more traction under our feet. So it's not going to be $1 in the future. So that's something that you can take advantage of right now. You can confirm the values that you just put in and read through these things just to make sure you understand. Then you'll sign your agreement. Let me rotate my screen. So you'll sign here, go on next, hard to sign there, and then I'll hit pay and create account. Now when I'm at pay and create account, I will enter, this is basically the equivalent of doing Face ID, but I'm using a simulator here, so I'm just basically typing in a false password that does the job for my simulator, and my password is here, and then it's going to ask me to continue. I will say continue, and now it's actually creating my credit line and putting it out on the platform for everyone else to see. So, trying to come over. So guys, I'm about to introduce one new person to the podcast. Let me switch over really quickly. I'll switch back to that view in a little bit, but yeah, you can fit there. And let me just make this stuff smaller.
Is it like a live?
Yeah, we're live. Yeah. So you want to sit down?
Yeah.
So yeah, guys. He's an AO, goes to Morgan State University, where I went to school as well. And I met him up here one time filming a little video, and I said, "Hey, can you help me out filming this video?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help." And by just him helping me, I was like, "Yo, you can come on the podcast. It'll be great to have you on and show some representation of other people from Morgan anyway." So that's really the benefit. And he's a new member that's going to be on the podcast a little bit more as well. And we're glad we could have him today too. So what's up? He's happy.
What's up, y'all?
Yeah. So next thing that we're gonna do is go back to our basically that was paid and created. So cool. And now we're gonna go back, and in a little bit we will see that username pop up over here. And here it is over here. It's one of the ones that are very, very low. It has $0 invested in it right now, but you can see all the data that we just created. This is a smart contract, guys. So now you can go in here and you can lend peer to peer, right? So I'm going to look at it from the borrower side because I'm signed in as a person who just created this credit line. I can see my credit limit is $5. Makes sense. My annual interest rate is 13%. Makes sense. I can look at some little details here if I want. You can actually close your credit line. Also, it's easier to do that before you've had people lend to that credit line, of course, because if you have people lend to it, we're not actually able to let you close it because now you have an onus to repay at least everything that you've borrowed, and there might be interest on top. So the option is there because it's fair to have that option there. There's also an option to close your entire Blender account, partner account. So, but you have to remember that there are responsibilities that are put upon you or that you take up upon yourself when you create a credit line. So it is a serious thing. And you see there's no lending funds, right? So this is pretty much it here. And what I'm going to do now, as you can kind of understand, I'm going to show you both sides of it. So I just showed you kind of long and drawn out, but I just showed you how to create a credit line. Now what I'm going to do is sign out. Oh, cool. You guys get to see the simulator. It's just a phone. So it's not really that cool. I'm going to sign in as my account actually, which is M. Lewis. And now I'm signing in as myself. And what I'm going to do is I am going to go to the main account. How much money do I have in this account? I have like $24 in my account. So that's for my Blender wallet. I'm going to scroll down, scrolling with my finger. And here's the one down here. It's tied up with this one here for being the lowest one. And I'm going to lend some funds to it. This is how you lend. And I'm also going to show you how to reclaim funds also. You can reclaim funds that you lend if you change your mind. You can only reclaim. So if you reclaim, here's the deal. When you lend funds to a borrower, you can reclaim from that borrower as long as that borrower hasn't yet withdrawn the portion of funds which you've lent. So let's say AO and I here both lend you your credit line $10 each, right? And then you withdraw $10. We can both each withdraw $5 because we both had $10 in the pot at the time that you withdrew, and now we both have $5 to take back because there's only $10 left in it. That's half of ours, so each. So that's the principle. The other part of it is there's a minimum contribution. So you cannot withdraw more than the minimum contribution. So if you've only lent the minimum contribution in total, so the minimum contribution is $10 and you lent $10 in total, you can't withdraw that unless you're willing to leave the credit line and stop being a lender, which would mean that you still receive your interest compounding payments, but there's some other things that basically when you're withdrawing all the funds that you've ever lent that potentially haven't been so let me give another example. Let's say you lent $10, the minimum contribution is $5, and then you want to withdraw $10, right? You can't withdraw the whole $10. You can only withdraw $5.
That's the minimum.
That's the minimum contribution, and that's like you have to at least have that much in the pool to be a lender. Now, if you have already had $5 withdrawn and you want to withdraw the 5, and from the 10 that you contributed in total, you can do that. So that's pretty much the principle there. If I want to lend to this person, I want to lend $5, which is the minimum contribution that you saw down there. I'm going to click lend, and now I'm going to read through these little notices here. Your lenders may reclaim funds not yet withdrawn by the borrower. Note, borrower's debt is accrued by their withdrawals, and telling you the commission that we will earn from the transaction. This is how we earn. Everything else is free, but the transactions that go through a
So
credit
four
line,
percent,
yeah,
0.9.
yeah, that's our commission that we earn from the transaction. The same way when you go through Bank of America, they're charging you a monthly fee to hold your account unless you spend $500 a month. When you use your credit card, they're charging you sometimes up to 1.5% per swipe, depending on where you go and what you're spending on. The relationship between the credit card processors and there's a lot in the entities, the businesses that you're shopping with. There's a lot that goes into those fees, but they're lucrative, and you don't even see them really printed out on your bank statement.
Yeah, you
So
don't.
you don't see them on your bank statement. They're just deducted, and you have to understand that they're taken out. So it's rough. And at least we're telling you right here. So now you'll go and sign the agreement that is here for you to read. And this is the lender statement stating what you are agreeing to as a lender. You'll go through. Very hard to sign with your finger, but there you go. Do a better job signing in that because your signatures are put in a PDF for all the other lenders of the contract to see. So you're like it's a tabulation of every lender agreeing to lend based on the configurations that the borrower set. I'm gonna type in my Face ID code, the same thing I typically do if I did my face scan, and now it says success. I'll get an email stating that hey, we see that you've just lent to this person. We see that you just lent to this person, and you get an email confirming that, right? So I just lent $5. I can't reclaim anything yet, but if I wanted to reclaim, I would have to hit that button there. And it's still processing
What
my
the
contribution.
arrows?
Yeah, this arrow. Yeah, but it's still processing my contribution. Once it sees that I've lent and I've actually become a lender, I'll be able to click this. And really, I'm gonna lend five more, so that way I can show you guys how to reclaim something. So I want to show you guys how to make a reclaim as well. So that the first contribution actually loaded. You see now it's at 475, and that's just around 5%. We take out 4.9, right? And that 5% of $5 is 25 cents. So you're able to see there that's taken out, but the net contribution is there for the borrower to withdraw. And if I let this refresh in a little bit, you'll see that reach 850 or 950. My bad.
What's the available credit?
The available credit that he can actually withdraw right now is only $5.
It's credit limit.
His credit limit. But the thing is, we can lend more than the credit limit, and it'll show here that his graph is going up, and it'll show
Right.
that, but you won't be able to access. So now he
The
ranks.
available credit.
Yeah, he only be able to access to the limit of the available credit.
Right.
So you only be able to withdraw five.
So like the available credit is like what's floating, or
The available credit is like what's available. What do you mean? Like floating is like available?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's available for him to actually take out. But until he increases his credit limit or she increases her credit limit, that won't be available. So now you can see the
Wait,
graph
so
is
that's her like that's the way they set it up for their credit limit
yeah.
based on like what they get lent, or
Why it's five?
yeah, because you lended them $5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I'm saying, okay, so yeah, you give them $5 and that's the limit. Okay, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So they only so now they have 950 of available credit now. But
Is that plus what they had before, or
yeah. I lent
okay,
five twice. I
okay,
lent five twice, and the credit limit is $5. And now you can see it says 475 here,
right,
but the only value that they can actually withdraw is up to five. It's up to five. So you can extend this graph here as well to show you more data. It's going to look pretty much the same because it's just 1 point, but as it gets larger and larger, I'll show you another credit line, and that credit line extends for more time. So if I want to reclaim now, and I hit that switch button, it's telling me that the max I can reclaim is $4, and that's basically the principle I was saying earlier. Because there's a limit to how I have to have a certain amount of skin in the game, it's telling me okay, you can withdraw some, but not too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and withdraw $4 and reclaim. Oh,
it has
it's
to
saying
be at
at
least,
least
so it
five.
has to
So
be
it's
at least
basically
the
saying
credit
don't
limit.
even Well, no, it's just a minimum amount for that transaction. So Basically saying it's too little for you to reclaim. Just chill out, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it's saying. It's pretty much saying chill out.
So you can only reclaim what's in the credit limit or the available credit, because you gave this person the $10, so you can reclaim anything up to 5 or more.
Pretty much, minus
Yeah,
the net. So there was 50 cents taken out
yeah,
for So
25%,
yeah, pretty much. Well, not 5%, 5%,
5%, right,
25,
right,
25 cents, 25 cents. So this one here, if I did have, if I lend him again, then I'll be able to reclaim, and I'll do it like one more time just to do
right.
this.
Random.
Yeah, I'll
It
lend
has to
him.
be five
Yeah,
dollars.
be 5. I'm telling me. All right, here we go.
So would that be because like the 5% would be like too little, or
What do you mean?
because they said it has to be up to $5? Why?
Has to be up to $5.
Yeah, because you
No,
can lend them
because
for.
I the minimum contribution for that account is five
Oh,
dollars.
okay.
Yeah, the minimum contribution for that account is $5. There's the other rule is that you can't reclaim less than like $5. There's no point. It's almost like a petty transaction. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lend him $5 more. What's going on? It's activated. Might be doing too much. All right, so we just lent him $10 in total. 950's in there, and you can do a reclaim as well. But I'm not gonna keep fiddling around with that one.
Right.
What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna sign back in as this user. His name is WQR test. Yeah, they have downloaded yet?
Nah.
Huh?
Wait, I think I do. Yeah.
That's the B. Scroll to the left. Other way.
Mm,
So now, guys, what I'm gonna do is now I'm signing as this guy again, and I'm gonna go back to my credit line, and now you can see this is a borrower's perspective again. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna withdraw. So you're gonna go here. You're gonna make a withdrawal request.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. You see how? Yeah, you have it. So you see how now you're here, and you guys can see your Face ID. You can sign in and see the same thing.
Remember.
Yeah. And now, guys, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a withdrawal request. So right now I have $5 credit limit. I have available credit of $950. So even if I try to request more, it's gonna downsize my the amount that I received. I'm gonna show you that example. I'm gonna try to withdraw more. It's gonna say even though I'm requesting 9, it's still gonna give me only what's available. The way that this works is you create a withdrawal request, and then once you create your withdrawal request, then you can go through and receive approval for the withdrawal. Yep. So now you see my pending withdrawal request, last day of the year. So you see this here? It says your pending withdrawal request. That's the very
Mm-hmm.
last one. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on that pending withdrawal request, guys, and you're gonna finalize the withdrawal. Okay. When you finalize your withdrawal, same thing with your Face ID. And now what you're doing is you're actually withdrawing funds that were lent to you. So the whole process that we've gone through so far is that
Right.
we've lent funds
Mm-hmm.
as a lender, and then now we're withdrawing the funds that were lent to us, and we're as the borrower now. Now we can see that the values are that 3 turned into an 8, from 373 to 873, and you can see now that your available balance has gone up. And now going back to this credit line, as the borrower again, you can see that your available credit is here. It's here. So you can see that your available credit, 450, has gone down. So your available credit is going to go up and down as the amount of funds that have been lent to you goes up. And what you're trying to do is make sure that you can have the credit limit to actually access this. You understand?
So
So
what's the credit limit to be able to access the 450?
we have it now.
Oh, it's
So
$5.
yeah, but you already used it up though. You've already used your credit limit. So right now you just withdrawn it. You can see down here you have some more statistics of what's going on, but you want to try to increase your credit limit to make your withdrawals when you can.
Right.
And now I want to make a repayment, right? And how much do we have? We have 873. And now we want to go through making a repayment. Hopefully you're able to use your money for something other than just making a repayment back. But when you make your payment, you're gonna go 5, make a payment. Now when you make your payment, let's look at the transaction records also. So you can see the total amount of debt, the different transactions that we just did. You can see them here. You see creation, you see contribution, contribution again. We loaned $5. We lent $5 two times. Then there was a loan that was given to us as uh, uh, M. Lewis. That means that he made a withdrawal, and you can also see the loan was withdrawn there, and the payment received and payment given. So you can kind of see from both users, payment given, payment received. If there were more users, more lenders in this credit line, you would see this payment broken up pro rata each person's contribution. So if I lend twice as much as you have, and we're both lenders, and this person has made a repayment, IS WQRT, whatever, we would receive that split proportionally to whatever we gave, right? That's the whole thing there. And your transaction records are also sent to you monthly as well. So you get a transaction record of all the transactions that you've made. It just tabulates what's come in and out of your Blender wallet, pretty much. And it's the same way. What you go to school for again? What you study?
Information systems.
Yeah, so you know about tabulations, red, black.
I don't think we've done that yet.
I just mean like like spreadsheets of Excel, like
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I know what that is.
yeah, pretty much, and just showing profit and loss or expenses and stuff like that.
Yeah, like in the columns and stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty much what we're talking about. It's like I give that out in an Excel spreadsheet every month, as well as a PDF, so you can kind of see it in two
Okay.
forms, right?
So like, do you like make those yourself or?
No, it's automated. I don't say you
Oh,
gotta
okay.
make it. What are you talking about? Yes, everything's automated. It's all software. So what we're gonna do now is all right. So we just made a repayment. You can see our value went right back down again from 870 whatever to now 372. And now what we're gonna do is sign out one more time, close the app, and we're gonna sign back in as M. Lewis. All right. All right. Now we're signed in as my username again, and we're gonna go back to this credit line. I use that my account for so much testing and work. I'm gonna delete this credit line a little bit anyway. This is just to show you guys how it works. All right. And now what you're gonna experience is all right. Let's go back here and what was I want to show you? What was I want to show you? So you couldn't. I don't know if you remember what the value was before we lent the funds out, but you did receive funding in here. And, we also show you your general receipts as well. So these are your general receipts, and you can kind of see some general transactions that I've made with this account, but I've made a lot of transactions with this account also, so it's a little bit convoluted. Um, but we did receive our repayment back, and if I look to lending credit lines, I can see that I've received a payment here for 475, and the lent total that I've given is 950, and I haven't made any interest profit yet because he just repaid me at the same time, didn't allow any interest to compound. However, the amount that I lend can really exceed the amount of interest profit plus the amount of received payment can exceed the lent total if the borrower uses it like a typical credit line and makes his payments back, and continues to receive more lending contributions from more members. So those credit lines that continue to receive more lending contribution and continue to be supported by constituents, those are the ones that typically will return the most value in terms of interest profit to an individual lender. And that's pretty much the entire system there. So right now we have around 40 credit lines. You can see operated by several uniquely owned, several uniquely owned credit lines operated by several users. And when you go into the biggest credit line here, which is to the farthest left, sorry, that's my computer. Once you go into the biggest credit line, you'll be able to see the Lenderblock Corporation credit line. And this credit line shows you the credit line that Lenderblock Corporation originally started using last year. So this is September 3rd. This one was created, and it operates the same way that the credit line that we just made with that test user operates, where you can lend and borrow back and forth. So you can create this as well. If you have a small business, you have a small business? Huh? If you have a small business, you can go ahead and sign up. And what you can do is tell people who support you to, send you some funds. Um,
Through the app.
yeah, they can lend you funds. I mean, you think about it, even if you have,
Oh, okay,
you
yeah,
understand, like,
makes
where's
sense.
your family from?
Nigeria.
All right, so you have family in Nigeria, and let's say they need funding, right?
Mm-hmm.
And ideally, they can be in the United States. It makes it a bit easier for them to become verified.
Mm-hmm.
You can lend them funds and make sure that they can pay you back, right? Because as we all know, lending funds to family can be difficult because there's no documentation a lot of times, so or accountability or
Right.
transparency. So this provides all three of those things: accountability, transparency, and documentation. Furthermore, I was showing a little bit earlier how you deposit money into your Blender wallet here. You have any problems creating your account?
Yeah, it wasn't.
You couldn't find the email?
Yeah.
It's in your spam.
Spam,
It's always
spam,
in your spam. If you don't see it, it's in your spam.
spam, spam.
No, no, it's there. Trust me.
Let me go back.
Anyway, I know it's in your spam though. It's happened enough times for me to say it with good certainty. You can invite friends as well, guys, and pull your contacts. Should be some like fake contacts here. So there you go. And you can import your contacts, share the promo code with them, so on and so forth. You can input a phone number, an email address, or a contact name and send them as well. And it'll send them a promo code with an invitation for them to join the app. Um, and yeah, guys, this is all in house. Now I'm kind of running to the end of this part of the demonstration, but this is all in house. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is because, like I said, anyone can create this credit line. And what we're doing is operating this system just pretty much off of our personal budgets. Like we don't have any external funding. We're all completely organic. And this is a call to investors as well. If you like this kind of system, what we have going on here, and you want to help us build, and you want to help us to grow this company and make it something bigger than what it is, come and become a part of it. We have a lot of things coming in the future. We have I'm constantly creating new things, new extensions to this Lenderblock Corporation ecosystem, and I encourage you guys to take it seriously. Um, we have the partner platform as well added on that allows people to participate. This is a sibling to the Blender platform, which I can sign into using the same account, username and login, the same credentials, and it allows members
Oh,
to
here we go.
whatever. Yeah, you see in your spam, yeah. And it allows members to create partnerships, and the partnership allows members to lend and borrow. Uh, sorry, that's another platform. Partnership allows members to contribute cyclically to a pool at a fixed value and receive rotational turns to withdraw the sum of that pool. So that's the whole principle there, yeah. It's something that's known culturally in Latin America as tanda or juntas or cuchubales in Central America. Also, I've heard it as panderos from Brazilians. I've heard it for susu and partner in West Africa and the Caribbean. And I've also heard it as hui in some parts of East Asia. So I know it's a global phenomenon, but it's just compartmentalized into different ethnical groupings, and it hasn't yet amalgamated or bled across the borders of each ethnic group. So you have ethnic groups doing it within their own communities, but not necessarily doing it with the broader, metropolitan or with the broader nation. So I think, but this is what the whole mission of these applications is to kind of bring, like I said in the beginning, all those social practices to the modern age and decentralizing them and making them accessible, ubiquitous across all people. Because, like I said, our mission is to bring social practices to life and
To the real world.
to the real world,
Yeah.
and modernizing them with blockchain smart contracts, software, etc. So that's the entire mission. Let me show you about becoming Blender Verified. Very important. This here is the Blender Verified portal. This is where you can, one, request a verified registry form, this application form, and he's right now signing up and verifying his account, so he's gonna be on there too. Um, you guys can literally do it. We get around. I'll be very transparent with you guys. We get around 10 to 11 transient, just like new signups for the Blender platform or partner platform per day. So it's just like we don't pay for advertising or anything. We're just putting out content, and that's our natural flow in. So for your website, you can put lenderblock.io as well. For that's for everyone. If you want to put for your verification when you're doing your verification for the Blender platform or partner platform with Stripe, just put in lenderblock.io if you don't have a personal account for your business or whatever, or maybe a social media handle or a social media URL. That's all fine. The purpose is to attach some piece of web data uh, to who you are, and the more personal it is, the better, so that way the verification can really go through. But if you don't have anything at all, just put lenderblock.io because you're working with our corporation. That's fine. Anyway, you're going to see these different forms. What you need to do is submit each of these types of verifications. So you're going to submit the form. I'm going to show you that. So you click that button. It already sent me an email that has the form as an attachment. I'm going to go over. I put my email here. Yeah. So
So
prepare.
what did you say for the website?
You can put lenderblock.io.
Block.
And now what you're going to see here.
Dot like IO.
Yeah, IO. Yeah, it means Indian Ocean. That's a territory that that it's registered with, but it stands for like input output in the tech community. So you see a lot of
Right.
like fintech companies put IO,
Mm-hmm.
um, especially if they're in blockchain decentralization. So that's the wrong one. All right, let me refresh this page and search again. All right, so I just got my new email, and I clicked that button over there. This button here, get the VR application form. It sent me this email. This is my Gmail, guys. So hopefully my actual email is present nowhere. I think I checked that before, but hopefully I didn't miss it anywhere. You can see down here it's a verified registry application form. And opening up this form, you can scroll through it and see exactly what I'm talking about. Submitting this form is the first step. It comes in your email. You need to fill out all these fields. You can even declare a small business election if you'd like to attach your application to you're owning a small business, which helps your application as well. But what you're doing is you're submitting this form, and once you fill this out, the way you submit this is by sending an email. Follow the directions written right here in this text. It says, all submissions are sent via email to verified registry at theblenderplatform.io. Touch to copy. For all document submissions, set your email subject to be your username between square brackets. For example, square brackets M. Lewis should be written, that green text there for me should be written in my subjects where I submit my email. What that does is send it into our internal system where I automatically have it parsed, and those attachments go into an internal website that we use to weekly go through applications. And basically, what you're doing is you're submitting that main form here, and all the information in that form you need to verify by providing proofs. And it's going to be proof of address, which can be utility bill or anything similar that dictates your name as well as your address. We can have proof of an income, one and two, which is going to be two recurring pay stubs or just consecutive proofs of recurring income. And then proof of identity, front and back, like a license. And if you could provide a second one, that'll be great to really help your application go through. Um, that those are your verification proofs. So the form is to input the information, and the proofs there are there to prove what you've put in there to be valid. And once you do that, then you can go over here. Am I verified with this account in Lewis? That's crazy. I'm not. But if you do become verified, you will. I don't borrow with my own personal account, so what I'm actually gonna do is show you guys the Lenderblock corporation account, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Blender verified, and will allow me to which will allow me to Blender verified with this account. I'm not. All right. So anyway, this is what it's gonna look like. This is our corporate account. You can see by signing in as a corporate account, it'll literally look completely differently. I haven't become Blender verified, guys. If you're wondering, because there's no purpose for me to become Blender verified. But anyways, become Blender verified. It's right here. And if you want to check your eligibility to become Blender verified, you can. The way that you do that is by going down here and saying, "Hey, you must come." If you were Blender verified, you be able to enter into this input field and request an amount of collateral. But it's dull because you haven't become Blender verified. If you read this here, it says you must complete the verified registry application and receive acceptance confirmation to request collateral assistance, and then you can begin the verified registry app here because you haven't become verified yet, and now it takes you right here to the screen, right? So that's the whole principle there. Once you become good the whole way down, this will automatically become approved, and that just becomes the reason why these become good is because we manually are going through and checking off on the documents by eye, and then we say good. It's all automated, guys. We have a huge software infrastructure, and yeah, also going back to the Lenderblock credit line, let me show you one more thing, which is available to all lenders as well. You can increase your credit limit yourself manually. My computer again, guys. Now you can do this yourself manually. So you don't have to request collateral. You can also add it in yourself by clicking here. And our current credit limit is 25,000. And what we can do is add on more collateral. The minimum is $20 of collateral you can put down per instance. But you're going to add on collateral. And the reason why you'd want to add on collateral here is, let's say you have extra money every month and you don't know necessarily when you'll have a rainy day or need to access emergency capital. Put down money here to increase your credit limit, because if people want to lend you funds or you have funds in your credit line, it allows you to access them. And it's just, you can always take this money back once you've repaid all your lenders and you close your credit line. This money's still here for you to take back, so you don't have to. It's still your money. You're just putting it down to like collateralize borrowing against it infinitely many times. If I put down $10 and I borrow against that $10 10 times a year, that's now serving me $100 worth, 10 times what I put in, and that's the principle here. You can borrow against it as many times as you want, and we give you free collateral also. Just become Blender verified.
You can borrow against as many times as you want. So you can
Yeah.
borrow more than you.
Then you collateralize.
Oh, okay.
Because if I put down $10 as collateral, I put this here. This is worth $10, right? This chapstick worth $10, and you give me. I say, hey man, this is worth $10. I'm gonna let you hold this collateral.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of counterintuitive, but let's say I helped buy this for you. Someone helped me buy this, so I didn't just put it all up myself. And I give this to you and I say, hold that, bro. Can you lend me $10? And I say, sure. Hold that. You have that.
It's just collateral.
Yeah, right. Here. You give it to me. I use it to do what I need to do. I repay my minimum monthly payment each month, which is going to be less than the $10, obviously. Let's say it's $1 per month. I repay you $1 per month until I'm paid up. Cool. I've repaid you everything, plus a little bit of interest, which is accrued. Probably going to be a couple cents by the time, a couple pennies by the time I've repaid everything in 10 months, $1 at a time. And now once I've repaid everything to my minimum monthly payment in 10 months, now I say, hey, I repaid everything. Want to close my credit line? If you want to, sure. We don't want you to close your credit line. We want you to keep it open, obviously. But if you want to close it, sure. And then I say, hey, close it. Collateral comes right back to your Blender wallet. Simple. And now the benefit comes in if I keep that there, right? I keep this not just for him, but for the group of lenders. Imagine he's not just one person. Imagine he represents 50 different lenders, and I keep this there for them. And I keep putting more of them here, and I say, okay, guys, can you lend me some more funds? Sure. I lend it. I make a little bit of money from what I'm doing, and I add on to here, and I make a payment. Right? I add on and I make a payment. So that's kind of the principle there. And if you don't like that idea of collateralizing yourself, like I said, become Blender verified. You don't need FICO credit to use the Blender platform at all. So it's all based on collateral. The reason why is because we have to protect against borrower defaults, and we're not a broker. So we're not a money transmitter at all. What we do is make software for people to perform peer-to-peer transactions. So we're a software provider.
Blockchain.
We're not a blockchain. We're a technology provider. Like
Right.
in the same way that Uber is not a transportation company, nor is
Right. They
Lyft.
provide the vehicles and the
No, they don't provide.
employees. Well, the employees, but not the vehicles per se.
All they are is a software provider. They are just
Yeah.
they're a technology provider, which provides a technology service that allows for private contractors. And you're not acting as a private contractor on here, by the way. You're just using the software to conduct transactions.
Right.
But in their case, you're acting as a private contractor.
In Uber's case.
In Uber's
Yeah.
case, right? You're acting as a private contractor, and what you're doing is you're providing your own car, and you're picking up people, and those people are paying you directly, and as a driver to take them places. And
Right.
all Uber does or Lyft does is say, let's get a little bit of that payment that you gave them because we made the software, and we have to keep ourselves alive somehow. That's us. That middle part there of us saying, okay, we just need a little bit of the transactions going through because that's the only way we charge you. And for creating credit lines, which is only $1 right now, or creating a partnership, which is only $1 right now, that's the only way that we can earn funds. So um, that's the principle. We won't be forcing people to put down collateral once we get investment, but you guys are going to be the people who help us to get the investment. Without you, there's no investors. Investors are not going to come if you guys don't
Right.
and believe in this right now.
If it doesn't grow.
If it doesn't grow, guys, the investors are they're there. There's some of you are watching us right now, but the whole thing is if 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 we don't increase the number of credit lines and increase the number of utilization within each credit line, we will have less incentivization for an investor to say, you know what, I want to give them 500 million. And at that point, we don't need to force you to put up collateral anymore because then we can go through the procedures, afford to go through the procedures to allow us to be an actual broker or change the structure a little bit so that way we can submit our data as a brokerage to a TransUnion or an Equifax, a credit reporting service. And you need to be a brokerage to do that. They won't accept peer-to-peer transactions without a trusted intermediary fortifying it as a brokerage. So you need to have these things in place, and that's the kind of scale of growth that we have in our minds for what Lenderblock Corporation will be. And it's such a flip switch for us.
This is the Lenderblock Podcast.